it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Don't let that team stand in the way. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Graham Rucker for the touchdown. Graham shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
All right, here we go on a nice little Thursday episode. So good to be with all you fine Buckeye fans. I'm Timmy Hall. We got the Bode Man back there on the desk. And here in the studio with me tonight, Tyvis Powell, everyone.
Timmy.
Hey.
Hey, buddy.
You know, this is going to be fun. And coming up at 6:11, that's like when we take that first break, but something special is going to happen at that time. Our man, Tyvis Powell, has been getting after us here. There's something that he wants to try. It involves his progression as a radio host, which I admire that. And like we were just chatting at the end of Man and Bone back there, I agree. It's not something that I would want to put you in too soon just yet because you're doing a great job at what you do as an analyst and as a two-chair. They're very different mechanics, one chair to two chair. Now, I just sat two chair for Man and Bone show, filling in for T-Bone, and then you flip back to doing this, and it's different, setting the show up, setting up the topics. So what you're going to do is tease and toss to break.
I feel like that's... How hard could that be?
Well, it's... If you do it a lot, it's not necessarily hard once you are doing it. Tri-State Men's Health. We are both endorsers of them, and we'll be getting to that read later. You rest assured. Don't you worry about that.
Oh man, if
Common
Man was here, he would tell Teddy, cut that up.
Cut that up. Cut that up. Joey Gladstone, cut it out. But so you are going to do the tease and a toss to break at the end of our opening segment. So I look forward to seeing what you have picked. Well, I know what you picked, but I look forward to seeing
how I articulate
mechanically how you do that.
I got you.
Yeah, so that's going to be good. We got a lot of things to talk about, honestly, with how we're getting close to the NFL draft. You getting excited to see where all these guys that won the Natty?
I'm so tired.
How they're going to fall?
I'm so tired of like trying to guess what teams are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm ready for it to be reality. It's to watch people get drafted and to see their dreams come true. Like to me, that's why I love covering this. That's why I'm still around it, because I like to see kids that's earned their opportunity to play at the highest stage. I still remember, although I did not to get the phone call or get my name called and all those things, just to still have the opportunity to play in the NFL and do something that I grew up watching, and going to some historical stadiums and meeting some really good football players. Like it was one of the rare times in my life that I was kind of emotional. My first preseason game against Kansas City, it was very emotional for me. And it's because it was just that whole day I thought about just the journey to get here, and how even though I'm here, I still am the underdog. Like no matter what happens, like I still have to work and grind for everything. And it's crazy that my life panned out that way. Like nothing has ever just been like, here, Tyvis, you got it. It's always like you gotta work for this. You gotta do the extra stuff.
Well, look where it's gotten you.
Yeah, but like I sit back and I see other people just they just get it on just because. And
that's good. That's good
and
life.
It's not fair at times, but you know what? It's just what it is.
What our parents tell us. Life isn't fair.
Yeah,
but look at you. You get to take all that in, and that gives you some valuable lessons, right?
Well,
I think it's given you a thick skin.
Oh well, for
and I think it's given you the ability to go and handle things differently. You like making the transition into this world here. You are so great. Like you allow me to bust your balls as much as anybody.
Yeah.
And when you're talking, I forget what it was entirely about, but it was a month back or so. We're talking NFL draft things.
We were talking about
you're saying
my
how
agent.
You're still friends with your agent,
Yeah,
and I'm saying to you, what are you friends with him for? He couldn't help you hold a job, and you laughed your ass off about that.
Well,
and I respect that. That's funny.
It's true. If it's partially true, so
I get how some could take that as a low blow, but you don't, and it's obviously never meant to be that, because sitting in my chair, you accomplished something that I could have only in my wildest dreams have ever gotten to.
Well,
you lived it out.
What I've learned about when you have to work for everything and you got to earn everything, what it does is it builds a solid foundation. It's always like, all right, you know how to handle situations. You know the things that you have to do. When things go south, you know what the things that you have to do to get yourself back to, the best light. You know that you got to work hard. And for me, I even after I'm done playing football, that's still the mindset. Like, there's still things that I'm still critiquing and still trying to work on, to be a better in this area of my life. And I guess that's the one perk of having to work for everything.
What would you say to these guys? Because there's chances still that there's a record number of Ohio State Buckeyes taken in this draft class. Mm-hmm. That number set at 15, right?
Yeah.
And they got a lot of prospects. Don't know how many we don't seem to have that high-end first-round talent, mm-hmm. which I think makes the story of them winning the title even cooler, mm-hmm. that it was a collective group. It's not like there are no stars. Let's not get it wrong. College football stars, like, they had dudes. But to do it without, like, a top 3 pick or a top 5 pick, there could be 4 Michigan players taken in the first round ahead of the first Ohio State player. That's cool.
That's true. I think when we won it all, we didn't have no high draft pick in that very following draft. In that 2015 draft, I think the first Buckeye taken was Devin Smith in the second round to the Jets, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So it's similar to that. Obviously, some of their best prospects is coming out with us. A lot of us returned for another year. So obviously, the following 2016, a lot of them went first round. But following right off the Natty, we didn't have a lot of really good Buckeyes go early in the draft. So it is what it is. I would tell everybody just to enjoy this process. You're only going to go through it one time. It's gonna be it's a lot of highs and lows in this. It's some days that you feel like you're gonna be the first pick of the draft, and then there's some days that you're gonna feel like, man, nobody's talking to me, nobody's calling me. I'm not taking these official visits to the NFL teams and facilities and things like that. Like, did I make the right decision? Especially people that left early. That's gonna be the question. Did I make the right decision? And I would tell you that as this draft goes on, just be happy for your teammates. You're gonna see teammates fly off the board at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just know that your time is coming. And whether you get drafted or not, you're good enough to be in that league. Somebody's going to give you a shot to come in there and earn a position. And when you get in there, you have to do everything you can.
That's great advice.
Leave no stone left unturned. Be there early, watch tape, get with the coaches, take special teams very seriously. Show them why you deserve to be here. And it was
another line from quarterback Will Howard, right? And why, we both have gravitated towards him and his leadership skills. And look how great it worked out. He came here the one year, didn't know how it was going to go, knew this was going to be a great team. They ultimately win the national championship. He had another one. Everyone saw him doing Gruden's show on Barstool, and then he was on the Hey Rookie, Welcome to the NFL. This was an NFL network production. And the line that stuck out was, I'm going to make it my mission to make sure they regret not picking me to any team that doesn't pick him. That's the same kind of guy that's taking that advice that you gave to heart. It's not really so much about the draft, even though enjoy this day or group of days. Mm-hmm. Get to work when it's done. Then you can make something of yourself.
Well, speaking of taking some advice, when we come back, I am going to tell you who I think is the most important defensive Buckeye this season. That's next on the Buckeye Show.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
If you're like most Americans, you've racked up tens of thousands in credit card debt. You're stuck with 20% interest fees, and even the monthly payments, well, they're hard to make. It's insane. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. The good news is that there is a way out. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending. They specialize in fast, easy access to the equity in your home. Most homeowners have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their home equity. That's your money. AFLcash.com can get it out for you with zero junk fees and zero hassle. You can pay off all those credit cards in just a matter of days. Pay off your car loans too. Cut your monthly expenses by $800 or even $900. I'm telling you, the relief you need, well, it's right there at your fingertips. AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Break out of the credit card debt prison with AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 13th at the 2025 Ohio State Four-Mother, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down the tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostatefourmiler.com. Go Bucks!
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining healthcare.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Experience Buckeye Game Day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get one juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, one original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Ohio State National Champions. Celebrate the 9th National Championship in Ohio State history with an heirloom quality timepiece handcrafted by Oxia Time. Available in a broad range of styles and prices to appeal to that true Buckeye fan. If you want something extra special, check out the limited edition Ryan Day autographed box sets. These exclusive box sets won't be available long. Act fast and get yours before they are gone for good. All watches tell time. These tell the time of your life. Order yours today at AXIAtime.com.
Add some spice to your pizza night with Donato's new Smoky Hot Honey Pizza and Smoky Hot Honey Chicken Sub. Bringing hardwood smoked bacon, wood-fired chipotle seasoning, and Mike's Hot Honey together for savory, smoky, sweet heat perfection. Now get $4 off a large Smoky Hot Honey Pizza using promo code SMOKY. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Some hazy sunshine, warm and breezy and dry on this Thursday. Temperatures in the mid-60s. Overnight, we'll keep it mild with a couple of showers rolling in while you're sleeping, starting off your Friday morning in the low 50s. And during the day, plenty of sunshine, windy and warmer, around 80 degrees by Friday afternoon. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
If the colors scarlet and gray made a sound, that sound would be this. This is the Buckeye Show.
Timmy and Tyvis on the Buckeye Show here tonight, all you fine Buckeye fans. Before we get to what Tyvis teased back there, and have a special guest to call in and critique that as well, I want to tell you about my friends at Tri-State Men's Health. Because the little thing that I heard, maybe it was that shot that you missed out on or didn't get yet this week, Tyvis.
I haven't gotten it yet.
You know, there's a thing that you might notice if you're a guy in your 20s or 30s heading towards the big 4-0 like I was last year, you start losing 2 to 3% of your testosterone production every year. It happens gradually, and then before you know it, you just don't feel like you're the same guy. Maybe you're putting on weight. This guy right here. Maybe there's a decrease in libido, the sexy time drive. Less productive at the gym again.
Wow.
Sad or depressed. Or maybe not that one, but you're just trying to get to the end of the day and have that energy. Their low testosterone treatment at Tri-State Men's Health could be the ticket for you. So go to TriStateMen'sHealth.com, take the low T quiz, It is simple. It's 10 questions. It's quick. The first appointment, $99. You get the T and PSA test. If you sign up for the treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. TriStateMen'sHealth.com. 2 lovely locations right here in Central Ohio. So we're gonna talk some Ohio State defense in just a second. You left us kind of on a nice little cliffhanger there. The very well-known Common Man has called in on his drive home. Man, what did we think of the tease and the execution from Tyvis there?
Tyvis, I think you did a very good job. You were very conversational, but it didn't sound robotic or forced. The one area that I'm going to ding you on points is that you ended it by saying the Buckeye Show, and you didn't say on the fan. And I could tell that Bodie, who was running the board, was waiting for that on the fan. And so we had a split second of uncertainty where it could have been smoother in that area. But for a first try, excellent marks.
Nice.
You know, the funny thing is, Timmy said the exact same thing. And I wish I would have wrote it down. I wish I would have wrote on the fan down.
Did we rehearse that? Did we go over that part of it? About hitting the fan? Because the producers are trained to kind of go off of that.
You said, make sure you say next on the Buckeye Show. I don't know if you said on the fan.
Maybe I left a little bit up to you. But anyway, Mike, thank you for calling in. What's for dinner this evening?
Who the hell knows? I'm going to the hockey game tonight, and I'll be stuffing my face.
Oh, fantastic. Well, have a good time. It's a big one tonight. And again, like we said, player appreciation night. Have a good time there, Mike.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay. So, yes, we do have coverage coming up here at 6:30. Jackets taking on the Islanders. Yes. Too bad we didn't see the result. Yeah. You kind of knew it. It was in the pit of your stomach, right?
They didn't play their starters.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like you knew.
Well, and let's not just focus on the fact that the Canes didn't play their starters. Montreal had to win.
Yeah.
If they had any stones at all, I don't care if Carolina was full bore. You are at home. You're at the Bell Center. You go and win that game.
Carolina was the better team. Of
course, they're a better team.
That's why they would. Yeah. But you're right. They're
on the road. Montreal's at home. We got to win.
There's a different passion you play with when you know, like, if we win this game, we're in. Like, I've been in that situation before,
and if we lose, we're out.
Yeah.
And they would not have known that they were out if they lost. That would have given the Jackets the chance.
Yes, the Jackets would have had to handle business tonight.
Yeah, but that's coming up. But Tyvis, again, you left me intrigued. So let's talk some Ohio State defense.
So, obviously defense is my expertise. That's where I thrive at.
You don't say.
Yeah. I kind of won like this award or something for it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
that award gets brought up from time to time, doesn't it? I see that on, when is Big Ten Network just going to move on from putting that bullet point there? And just know that you're Tyvis Powell.
You got to give people some credibility. Like, this guy has credibility because X, Y, and Z. Or just X in this case.
Yep.
But anyways, when I look at this defense, obviously this has been a defense that's been number one for 2 years in a row. And obviously they lost the coordinator with Jim Knowles going to Penn State. And I'm thinking to myself, who is the most important guy on that defense that's going to allow them to continue to play or perform at a high level?
That's a good question.
Everybody will easily say Caleb Downs because Caleb is probably one of the best defensive players in the country. Then people would say Sonny Styles because Sonny Styles is the most athletic guy. This is a guy that's played safety, that's moved down to linebacker. He's a leader.
What about one of my favorite guys from last year?
Who?
He's in the linebacker room.
Arvell Reese?
Yeah.
Some people would say Arvell.
You're not going with him,
I'm not going with Arvell Reese, and I'm not going with the corners either. Not IGB, not Jermaine Matthews, not Devin Sanchez, Aaron Scott, none of them. It's actually going to come from the defensive line.
Yeah, because that's a spot on this team where everybody is focused on now with how they looked in the spring game.
But I'm not going to go with the obvious choice. See, a lot of people think I'm going to say Kenyatta Jackson or Caden
you're going with like an Edric Houston.
Edric Houston is the guy that I am circling
because he is a mang. And they need him to be a dude and a man and a mang all wrapped up into one.
So I know Edric personally. We have a good relationship, and Edric was one of those guys that came in. He was recruited as a defensive end. And right away from last year's spring game, you've seen something. He was a guy that can get to the quarterback. He was really good with his hands. And as this past season went on, you've seen him get bigger. And then you've seen him slide.
I seen it.
Yeah, you've seen him slide inside. And now he's playing that defensive tackle position. Now, the reason why that defensive tackle position is very, very important is because it stops the run, okay? Why is that important? Obviously, if you can run the ball, if a team can run the ball, like that's all they're going to do. We're going to run it all night if you can't stop it. The defensive tackles have to be the ones to stop that. But the reason Edric Houston also is important is because when they try to push up to the next level, our linebackers, Arvell Reese is big, but Sonny Styles is very undersized because he's an athletic linebacker. He has to keep his jersey clean. I don't know how good Sonny is with his hands. You know, you think about the team up north game where he gave up the leverage. It's because he threw his shoulder in there. If he would have used his hands, he would have kept extension and he would have been able to stay outside.
That's learning. That's playing and that's learning.
Right. So with Sonny, we need to keep his jersey clean. I don't need them centers to push up to the next level and get hands on him because
I hear you.
I don't know how good he is at getting off of a lineman.
You want him to be as freed up as possible to see what's in front of him and make those plays.
And that comes directly from Edric Houston and whoever else is playing in the middle of that defense. So that to me is why that's important. And if they can plug the run game up, now we talk about a guy like Arvell Reese. Arvell Reese, if it's a run, Arvell Reese is unbelievable at stopping the run. Where he struggles at is in the passing game. If Edric Houston can plug the run and make Arvell feel like I don't need to scream down here right away, he's not going to bite on play action. That's going to help him be able to get back in his passing zones and be able to play the pass better. But it always starts with the two guys in the interior.
When you mention that's right. You're right on about Reese. And I like where you went. That was a nice little dissertation about Edric Houston for Buckeye football fans.
Thank you.
To think about. I think it's going to be K-Mac is going to be the other defensive tackle.
Yep, Caden McDonald.
You need Tywan Malone.
Yes.
To step up here.
Yes. He
came from Ole Miss with Davison Igbinosun. I want to see something. I want to see something there. He needs to be a part of this depth for defensive tackle.
There's another guy that I actually have a good relationship with as well. Ty is one of those guys that he hadn't played a lot of football because he missed out on a lot of spring because he played baseball. When he came to Ohio State, this was
a two-sport guy.
Yeah,
he is very big to think about playing baseball. I mean, that's like the big hurt and then some.
But that's really what he was into. He really wanted to do that. And when he came to Ohio State said, listen, the baseball has to stop. You have to solely focus on football. This is the first time he's doing it. So he was behind the 8 ball coming in here because unlike a lot of players that play for Ohio State, this is all they do. He was a 2-sport athlete, so he's still learning things. But when I asked about his progress with some of the coaches, they say, "Oh, he's figuring things out and he's coming along." So he will be a guy that will be in that rotation. They need him to be, and I think we'll see some plays made out of him this year. But the reason it's taking him so long is because he was behind the learning curve. He had to really get some extra reps in there and really learn the ins and outs of playing D tackle.
He's like 6'4", 315.
Yeah,
man. Like that's a cleanup hitter.
Yeah.
If I ever heard of one.
Yeah.
I ain't heard of a baseball player that big.
Yeah,
Weight.
He went to the softball game. I don't know if he went yard in the softball game though. I don't think
that's
he did.
shocking if he didn't. All he has to do is get a hold of it.
You know why? Because he tried to kill. You can't kill the softball. You got to go out there and just swing a regular swing and then let the ball just fly.
This is something I'm looking up his baseball stats from Ole Miss just on the fly there, and not surprisingly because he's a football first athlete and then playing baseball right secondary, and so I see he has 22 plate appearances. That's it. 22 plate appearances. 19 at bats. 19 at bats.
What was his average?
He hit 263. Okay, so not crazy. He hit 444.
That's respectable.
He hit 444 in the 2022 season.
That's
with
really
only 9 at bats. Just think about it.
Oh, okay.
He has 3 home runs though in just the 19 at bats. That's a pretty good clip. Barely even getting off the ground.
He better had. So yeah, that's to me. I say all that to say it's going to be a pretty big year for this defense. Matt Patricia's going to have to really do some scheming, and some of these guys are going to have to grow up very fast, very quickly.
You talking about Arvell Reese just gets me excited, and I hear what you're saying about how it's a part of his progression, the way the game is played now, the way college football is played. Yes, you do have to be able to hold up your own in pass coverage.
Yes.
But as a fan and just from knowing his traits and his physicality, what I love is when he hits people. That's what I love.
He's gonna,
I'll be focused, and if he deflects a pass and all that and saves you from a 3rd down and 6 becoming a 1st down, that will be great. But the ones that are going to get you out of your chairs on Saturdays is when he's downhill and just stuffing a running back at the line of scrimmage.
He reminds me so much of Reuben Foster from Alabama.
Reuben Foster.
That's
a good reminder.
Yeah. But Reuben had to be better in the pass, and ultimately that led to his downfall.
All right, we are brought to you guys here, of course, by our friends at CareSource and by Coors Light. We thank them for sponsoring this lovely program. Tyvis, if they missed anything on the show, you can watch it on YouTube. Shows are there in the library, and you can download the audio version podcast anywhere you get your sound.
Yes.
Go Jackets.
Look up the Buckeye Show. Look for Timmy Hall's face.
Yep. Thank you for doing the 611 tees there. That was nice. Jackets, close it down. Get a win tonight. The coverage is next on The Fan.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Newman Roofing, as part of their 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, is proud to partner with 10TV and The Fan to launch Raise the Roof, honoring local heroes going above and beyond. We are calling on you to help us recognize the volunteers, educators, first responders, and everyday difference makers who are making a meaningful impact in your community to be recognized on 10TV and The Fan. Send in your nominations and stories to raisetheroof@10tv.com. That's raisetheroof@10tv.com. Nominate a hero today and help us